Step 4, in an acid enzymes. So step 4, in the acidic enzymes that are going on inside the acidic environment, and the enzymes change, they become dysfunctional. One of the things is there's these little organelles in our body, in our cells, that are called lysosomes, and they grab substances and engulf them and kind of dissolve them. Well, these in a low pH become really toxic, and they start poisoning the cell. And so you'll see a group of cancer cells where the center of the cell is dead and the periphery is fast growing. So it becomes a very bizarre thing. And we'll often find that in tumors. We take out a tumor and the center is necrotic. So a tumor is a thin layer of rapidly growing cells surrounded by a dead mass. Now these acid toxins will actually leak out and poison the environment and cause pain. Pain is acid. In fact, when we give lidocaine, if we're going to do repair a wound, if you have a wound and you're going to repair it, they inject around the wound with lidocaine so that you won't feel the needle when you sew it up. What the lidocaine is doing is raising the pH. So you see, it's not that the typical allopaths don't know this, but you know what? They were trying so hard to get into medical school that they never played that game where you connect the dots. So they never learned how to connect dots. So pain is a symptom of low voltage, and pain is a symptom of an acidic pH. So if you've got chronic fatigue syndrome, and if you have fibromyalgia, which means you've got pain all over your body and you're tired, there's one answer, and that is you probably have a total body voltage of 5 or less, and everything's going to ache. Cancer cells become dormant at a cellular pH of 7.53, which is a voltage of minus 30. Remember, we need minus 22 to 25 to be healthy. So if you want to start going up. So they start to become dormant. By the time they get to a minus 45 millivolts, which is a pH of 7.8, and as high up as 8.8, they actually die. They begin to die. So the range that killing cancer is minus 65 to minus 70 millivolts starts killing cancer. Well, if you can't get your body voltage to that level, you'll never heal it. It'll never heal. And remember, voltage, which is the potential, electrical potential, equals chi. Voltage equals pH. Okay, so the West and the East are talking about the same thing with different words. Well, you get a little millivolt meter, like you can get a Radio Shack, and we do that with people's teeth. You can it's a millivolt, not a volt, but a millivolt meter. You put one electrode on a tooth with an amalgam, and the other one against the cheek to ground it, and you can see it. And if it's anything above 30, you know that they're leaking, and there's usually 150 to 200, they're leaking voltage, which means that meridian is gone. Right, so you can measure it. You can take the two ends of that voltmeter and put it into a potato and measure the voltage of a potato. Mashed potatoes have no voltage.
So what is it you ask for when you go to buy this voltage? When you say you go to Radio Shack?
Just ask for a voltmeter, and you want to measure it. No, it measures voltage.
So you can just put it on your teeth?
Well, one here and then on inside of your cheek to ground it. No, if you don't have amalgams, then it won't. It's if you have metal in your mouth.
Right. And some people don't know if they have metal in their mouth.
Right. So if you don't have metal, it won't change that. But there are dentists that have a machine called a cavitat machine, which is basically a sonogram or ultrasound machine, and it's able to detect early bone loss, early infections. Before X-rays will see them. If you have a root canal, you have to run right away after you leave this lecture and go get it taken out.
So which means you have to pull your teeth.
Right, you have to pull your teeth so that you still have a mouth to live. So you can eat, because if you don't, what's going to happen is that root canal, which is putting out so many thiol ethers that one drop of it would kill a mouse in 5 minutes. It's really poisonous. What's coming out of root canals. And if that root canal is on a particular meridian, all the organs involved are going to be poisoned. But even if it didn't affect that, it's affecting the whole body. So you have to, because what is a root canal? A root canal is a dead root. It's a dead piece of tissue that's left in the mouth. And you never want to leave dead tissue in the body. Right? Because when they do a root canal, they kill the nerve, they kill the blood supply, and now you're left with, and then they kind of put a cap on it. Right?
Does braces consider that, or it has to be part of it?
No, it's,
So braces on the teeth would be
yeah,
considered
metal.
that?
Because it mixes with your saliva. Anything in your mouth, basically you're going to have the same voltage in your whole mouth because the saliva is ionic and it carries the current. So, we have in our body, the debate between Louis Pasteur and Béchamp,
Yes.
right? About the germ versus the milieu. Well, there are millions and millions and millions of organisms all over us and in us and every part of us, and they change forms depending on what the environment is. Changing forms, the term is pleomorphism. Okay, so in a healthy environment, these organisms are not detrimental. Okay, in fact, they're helpful. A lot of the flora in our gut. I mean, without the flora in our gut, we wouldn't be able to clot. We wouldn't be able to do a lot of things. Without the healthy flora in our mouth, we'd be in trouble. So we're really, with the skin flora. Okay, when the voltage drops, the immune system fails, and once the immune system fails, then these organisms change forms and become pathogenic. And then you start to get chronic infections and you get cancer. And voltage dropping you can think of in the old terms that we've always thought of, and that is becoming acidic. If the body becomes acidic, it's no longer carrying a charge. Oh, and and the other thing is autoimmune diseases. We call them autoimmune, but more and more we're finding out that autoimmune diseases are really stealth pathogens that we haven't been able to identify, that are stimulating an immune system. Because our immune system is brilliant. Our immune system was not educated in the American school system. So our immune system is not fooled and thinks that, oh my gosh, the heart is the enemy, or the kidneys are the enemy, or these joints are the enemy. The immune system is attacking something that it has found. We haven't found what that is. We haven't identified this organism that is hiding out, right? So, and then we get all kinds of itises. Itises mean inflammation, colitis, pharyngitis, carditis, vaginitis, blepharitis, dermatitis,